The web transforms us. We become data, code, uploading our very selves to a place we call the cloud. But this cloud is grounded in hardware, a chaos of code. But with the right tools, you can find the signal in the noise.
Nobody ever suspected anything. I was a newspaper editor. I coached. I was volunteering my time. I had really good friends, and I had a really good family. That's probably one of the reasons it came as such a shock to people when I was arrested. I've had to spend my whole life lying and explaining and being worried about, is someone going to figure this out? I've tried to control myself the best I could. I've tried to lead the best life that I possibly could. I know that my life would have been different, not wonderful, but at least better, if I'd never gone on the internet.
Kwarto niya, gitawag ko ni ate, dali ragod. Unsa man, wa ko katubag ato kay. Ipasod ko dito niya, ipahubo ko sa inunto si hubuon ako ang akong sanina niya. Kuandayan ko sa computer. Kita ko Amerikano na naghukas. Nitanaw siya nako. Hadlok ko ato.
A girl on the other side of the world, drawn into the darkest corner of the internet. Here, you can find child porn, drugs, guns, fake passports, counterfeit money. It's a place where everyone is anonymous and invisible to law enforcement. Welcome to the dark web. You might be tempted to see it for yourself. And what's the harm? What's one more click?
Here, there is no jobs. Dili yun siya pang sustainable. You can earn 3,000 a month making a rope. But if you show your body, 3,000, 5,000, in one show, in 30 minutes, it's easy.
Child cybersex. It's an epidemic on the island of Cebu.
Kumusta naman ang iyang pag-eskwela?
Jonah Nunez, an outreach worker for the NGO Forge, is fighting it door to door.
Even the little boy, even the little girl, they know already what is cyber pornography. It's a show. To remove your clothes, to show your body to the computer, to the internet. Una, ang sad ani, na ay parent ug ang iyang anak, ang parent maoy magdo. Kung dili gani, unsay ipabuhat sa bata taptapan. Unya is sex niya. Unya mo to'y picturean. Batila ang organ sa bata.
Naabak atong tayo mga nahitabo to o giingnan ra ka niya? Naa ka. Tingano mang isugot man ka nga mahitabo to.
Tungod sa among kalisod nga katong time wagid may ipalit og bugas. Tungod sa cyber sex para makatabang siya sa amo ang pamilya.
Internet access is growing faster in the Philippines than almost anywhere in the world, and 80% of it is broadband. On the other end of these cables are servers. some hidden in the dark web. You need a special browser to access this part of the internet, one that conceals your computer's IP address. The first of these browsers was Tor, the onion router, named for its layers of encryption.
Tor and the dark web was originally a project started by the Navy Research Lab here in the United States to protect the communications of U.S. government personnel.
Greg Virgin spent 8 years working for the NSA and the Department of Defense. Later, with his own cybersecurity company, he helped to make Tor a useful tool for political dissidents abroad, giving them a safe way to communicate without fear of reprisal.
So, Tor project has servers all over the world, and those servers accept connections from users like our guy here, and then bounces that signal around. All of these connections are encrypted, so no one can piece together who this person is and what this person is doing.
The government made Tor freely available, and it was soon put to more sinister use. The dark web was born. Every day, an estimated 2.5 million people use Tor to visit the dark web. The amount of child porn here is staggering. Over 100 million sexually explicit images of children, not to mention live streaming on webcams.
So I've just opened up the Tor browser, and now it's possible for us to anonymously browse the dark net.
To avoid breaking the law himself, Greg looks only at text, not images.
This is a site that's live right now. You can see that there's a really disturbing trend toward younger and younger children that the dark web fosters, some ages as young as infants. There's even a term called pedomom for mothers who are trading their children around in the community. There have been a number of sites dedicated to child torture, conversations about exactly how to torture a child.
Greg's goal is to understand how child porn is traded on the dark web so that law enforcement can stay a step ahead.
Just to gain access to these sites, you have to trade in original child abuse content. They are getting you to break the law to make sure you're not law enforcement and weeding out people who aren't authentic pedophiles. It's a community of relentless users that's becoming more and more difficult for law enforcement, for analysts to break into.
Are you holding Winnie?
I am holding
G.I.
Winnie. No,
Joe?
I'm holding Winnie.
So sweet.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, well, it's a sweet picture.
Yeah. His one little finger sticking out there. I think I started having feelings of sexual attraction toward children probably when I was about 15 or 16. I can't explain the attraction. All I can tell you is I wish to God I didn't have it. I watched child pornography and searched for child pornography every night. I looked at pictures of children who were nude, and yes, I did look at pictures and films of children in sexual acts with other children and with adults.
David says he has never had physical contact or webcam sex with a child. He was arrested in 2012 for possessing child pornography and for buying it on the internet.
The feelings are overpowering. It runs through your entire body. The power of that addiction trumps everything. The only two things that would stop me from looking at child pornography was being arrested or dying.
I'm interested in getting into these individuals' minds, this very secret place of being aroused by a situation like that.
At a high-security psychiatric hospital in Montreal is a dark room known as Le Cave, the vault. Here, Patrice Renaud and his team of psychologists probe the innermost thoughts of convicted sex offenders.
We start by installing the EEG cap. We then proceed with the stereoscopic glasses, in which we have a built-in eye tracking device. We then ask the subject to install himself the penile gauge, which gives us an idea of the tumescence, that is the level of erection that the guy presents at every moment during the procedure. We then present a series of animations in virtual immersion that brings the individual back to a state and a place that brought him to offend.
Children are playing in a nearby pool, and you notice a little girl about 8 to 10 years old who is walking away from the pool toward you. You are thinking about how much you would like to touch her.
While the subject is immersed in this virtual scene of the crime, the team monitors his physiological responses. If he tries to suppress his erection by looking away, the eye tracking catches him. The results are used to determine how dangerous the offender is and whether he needs to be incarcerated.
With the guy that we're working with at the moment, we recreated a scene in which he was molesting a 6-year-old girl in his apartment and killing her afterward, sadly. So we want to understand what motive the individual had at the moment. Is the killing also a sexual part of the crime? So it becomes a way to go even deeper in the psyche of the individual as it comes to his sexual preferences.
An estimated 1% of men are pedophiles, meaning that their dominant sexual attraction is to prepubescent children, even if they never act on it. Many psychologists see pedophilia as a deep-rooted preference that can't be changed, only managed.
Sa may baton na sa internet kasagaran.
Kuhan sila, show.
An undercover investigator with the Children's Legal Bureau, a Filipino NGO, is meeting with his informant.
Sa may kasagaran may tabuan ng suso.
Para magitawag nila tusam.
Unsa man ang magtusam?
Silang duha ka babae, magduwa sila.
Duha ka babae. Iyang banon sa may baton.
Ako sa
Ha?
kuhan po, magbuhat silang duha, magtiayon.
The couple is allegedly abusing their own children on webcam for foreign customers. These are photos from the case file. The older daughter, age 12, and the younger one, age 10.
Unsa na ka ng schedule nila?
Nananayin kuhan lang, nabitang gabi, puntang na dito.
This is where they started conducting cyber sex operations. The people around the area notice us, so we have to be very careful. Unsa man to katinood nga na report sa ang wata gi padua sa
Ako siya ha, o tinod dito. Ako ang dito sa una sa YouTube.
Na-upload to? Unsa klase nga duwa?
Kanang kuptan,
Through cyber sex, they earn a lot of money. They bought a car, Kia Sportage. Nag-recruit pa na sila mga kuhan.
Kana yung
So, posible na pagtinapod.
may posibilidad na gi-upin na nila.
They're using the convenience store as a front that is the source of their income.
Marukoy na sila kay kuha magka-standby kay sa umus.
Yung nilang mga lookouts, yung binayra na nila.
Oo, karoon na may CCTV sa ila. No?
Wala na siya nagdura sa imo.
Wala, tingali.
Ayaw lang pala.
Dili lang ko po wala.
Ayaw lang pa dool-dool. Continue lang ipunta monitoring. Yeah. Tawag lang ilang text ka na unti ka. Ako lang mantanin. Look at these guys. These guys are also monitoring. They are looking at us.
Okay, so should we keep going?
Yeah.
Let's go.
The subject is looking at us. She already noticed us.
She saw us.
Yeah. There was a time that the subject chased me by using his motorbike, so that's why I'm afraid. And there were reports that the subject has a gun. So for my security, it's very dangerous for me to go outside the van.
So we should not
So
get
it's not
out.
advisable to get out.
We should not get out.
Yeah, we should not
Okay.
get out.
Okay.
Abort.
Kilan tan akong mama. Then, ato nga time wala may kwarta. Namang ko na ato'y amiga din. Ang iyang ate may ning ato. And then, ni-offer ko nga pwede ba ako. Instructionan mi nga pa kubo nga mong upper nga sanina din.
Kinsa may nakita nimo dito sa pikas nga sa kamera?
Ang foreigner,
Unsay pangidaron?
50 plus.
Unsa may imong mahinumduman sa imong gibati adtong panahon na?
Naglago.
Kay diha ba sa inyong dapit nabay ubang mga kabataan naghimo pud sa ingon?
Halos tanan.
Kung imong ma-estimate pila ka kabuok?
Saman imong isulti.
Nakaot na balik ako tugante.
Maka-observe ta sa bata no nga pagka kung siya appeal ani nga activity para niya wala nay value ang iyang bisan gani sa eskwelahan kay kada bang murag tulala siya wala siya sa sarili ba ang trauma anak niya naa nagpabilin sa iyang kaugalingon. Ang mga bata gibiktima sa kanaang mga sa kanang mga tao but worst ang foreigner. Nganong giingon naman nila ang mga bata diri sa kuan. Sakit. I hate foreigner. Nganong giingon naman nila bayaran ra man nila ang mga bata. Tungod ba kay maka-afford sila? Maka-afford sila, magpadala dayon sila kwarta. Wa sila kahibalo, naa sila'y anak. Sila mismo, mga Amerikano, mga unsa pa na din nga nasod. Sila ang nagbiktima sa atong mga nasod. Mauna karon ang atong buhaton para magtinabangay pagsugpo aning numero unong problema sa atong katilingban. Kung dili ta magpakabana karon, unsa may mahitabo sa atong mga anak. Children are not for sale, mga bata, dili mo baligya. So, unsa kahay mahimo sa kaning technology, labi na sa kanang mga tao nga nag-discover ani, sila pud unta na mao imubuhat nga ang pagkontrol aning in one click.
My name is Sweetie. I'm 10 years old. I live in the Philippines. Every day, I have to sit in front of the webcam and talk to men. They play with themselves. They want me to play with myself. But what they don't know, I'm not real. I'm a computer model.
Sweetie was the bait in a global sting operation conducted by the Dutch NGO 3.Bölüm in 2013.
As soon as I go online, they come to me. 10, 100, every hour. So many.
Sweetie fooled more men than anyone could have imagined. Over a 10-week period, more than 20,000 guys offered to pay her for webcam sex. 1,000 of them gave up personal information from 71 countries. If you think that's a lot of customers, consider this. Sweetie was only introduced in 19 chat rooms, but the FBI estimates that there are over 40,000 chat rooms where at any given moment, 750,000 people are looking for child porn. The original Sweetie was controlled by 4 researchers in an Amsterdam warehouse. Sweetie 2.0 will be able to generate her own dialogue and carry on thousands of conversations at the same time, but only if she can gain access to the heavily encrypted sites where child porn is traded. Sweetie may have evolved, but the dark web is evolving faster.
At some point, doing the investigations is going to become too hard. I don't feel that there's a way around the encryption, and I do honestly feel that it's only a matter of time before we have very private, very inaccessible sites that perform very well and give this particular class of consumer everything that they need. I would say it's moving twice as fast as some of the trends in cybersecurity. I think we've only got a couple more years.
As a sting operation, Sweetie was not entirely successful. Europol warned that some judges would consider it entrapment. Of those 20,000 men who took the bait, only 6 have been convicted. But there's no doubt that Sweetie helped raise awareness about child cybersex.
Shortly after my arrest.
Since my arrest.
Okay. And my phone number.
Oh, and your phone number.
I was released on the conditions that I couldn't use the internet or have a computer in my home, and that I couldn't go anywhere where children would congregate, like parks or recreation centers, swimming pools. When I was looking at children on the internet, I hated myself for doing it. I knew it was wrong. I knew the children in child pornography who had been abused, and they'd suffered horrible consequences for the rest of their lives. Sometimes I would just stare at these kids and wonder, like, you know, where are they now and what horrible things they've gone through in their life. You think about it sort of in the abstract, but it doesn't stop you from doing what you're doing.
Psychologists call this dissociation. A screen allows you to detach your real self from your online behavior and create an alternative reality where social norms no longer apply.
I'm not defending looking at child pornography, but if people weren't producing it, we wouldn't be looking at it.
Producers of child pornography in the Philippines are being targeted. Every so often, another raid makes the news. Children watch the police take their parents away in handcuffs. The children are relocated to a government shelter where they live until their parents serve out prison terms. But fighting child cybersex at the source is like fighting the heroin trade by spraying poppy fields. If global demand is strong enough, there will always be people eager to meet it, especially in poor countries like the Philippines. For over 2 years, the Children's Legal Bureau has been trying to get the local police to arrest the couple allegedly pimping their own children.
No action yet. The search warrant was not being applied. But all of the people in the Barangay Sudtungan knows that they were involved in cyber pornography.
The investigators have built an impressive case, including a floor plan of the house, everything they need for a search warrant. But every time they schedule a case conference, the police postpone. You'd think the community would be up in arms.
The community, they already know the operation of this family. But some of their neighbors depend on this family because they can easily borrow money from them. So it's better to keep silence and do nothing.
What we're seeing right now on the dark web is market creation. So in much the same way, there were a bunch of failed social media site attempts before Facebook. What we see in the dark web is sites, forums that are coming and going, and a community of relentless users who are really working to build what hopefully I'm wrong about is this more perfect way of sharing child pornography. If 1% of the general population really has these cravings Think about the amount of currently unmet demands these networks could be meeting. It's a very dangerous time.
It's a bit like an arms race, in a sense, because with the advent of internet and virtual reality, pornography evolves, and child pornography will evolve. And we try to be always a step ahead.
Professor Renaud and his team are exploring the use of virtual reality to help pedophiles control their impulses.
Even if something bad happens here, let's say he has a full-on erection, there is absolutely no children. It's virtual.
Which raises an intriguing question. What if child avatars like Sweetie could be used as virtual partners for pedophiles, a safe way to satisfy their urges? Maybe fewer real children would be harmed. It's a risky proposition. For some men, it might have the opposite effect.
Using virtual reality to experience sexuality is a very delicate matter, since some fantasies may be lived very intensely and can leave a trace in the brain. So where is the boundary? Where's the limits? What can we really allow individual to do?
There's no cure. There's no crackdown that will delete child pornography from our world. We're left to our own devices and our ability to learn that every click has consequences.
I don't think anybody can explain their attractions. I think it's the luck of the draw. We can't control what we are. What we can control is what we do.
Meanwhile, child cybersex continues to spread, especially in the developing world.
If we can address the poverty, if we can address the vulnerability, that is really what we should be doing regardless of what's happening online.
Para nila makatabang nila, pero unsa kay hulagway sa atong komunidad kung ingon ani na ang atong mga bata. We are fighting this battle for the future of our children.